Thank you so much, Neeraj Kabi, for joining us for yet another edition of Tiffin Talks. It's a real pleasure with a whole new look, Neeraj. You've, of course, been all over our screen, small and big, the last few years. We've seen you in a variety of roles, from the absolutely brilliant monk's part that you played in Ship of Theseus to Mr. Talwar in Talwar, and of late, we've seen you in a series of streaming series. In fact, sometimes it's difficult to see which series you're not in, you know.
Thank you.
And it's lovely to see you in Avrod now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Between what I'm sure is a really busy schedule. First, explain the new look, and then we'll go into Avrod.
you. I've shaved my mustache and the beard, I think after many years now,
Right,
which is of course for a project that I'm doing now. So this is the kind of a look that one is wanting to flash on
right.
the screen. It's a feature film. Um, but yes, I've never done this. It's been so long. So there was an excitement when I was actually shaving off because the beard and the mush stay with you not just as a part of your body growth. It stays with you even for the work that you've done with it.
Right,
All the characters that you play with
right.
your entire physical instrument, they
Yeah,
remain with you at times.
right.
So when you're shaving off, it's not about saying that okay, I'll shave off and grow back again. You're actually going into a new realm. That's what you feel when you do this after so many years. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I enjoy and I like to experiment not purely because the look has to be different, but there is a being that the look will carry.
Hmm.
If one uh, just creates a kind of a bulk in the body or reduces the weight just for effect, I think that is a very partial or a very limited treatment to an actor's job. What the look should also do is to create a being with it. That's
Hmm.
the attempt. So one is trying to attempt to see if this look will create or would be able to create a being with it, which you then encompass and you inherit as a character and then you play that. Because if it's only going to be a look and inside I'm going to be the same actor as I was in my other projects, then this look has no meaning.
Right. Neeraj, you've done this before. You've had physical transformations before. Clearly, for Ship of Theseus, you must have lost a lot of weight because you had to
Yes.
play somebody who was going through that ascetic life.
Yeah.
And of course, you've played Gandhi, not once, but I think quite a few times.
Twice.
Uh,
Twice.
Twice. Once in Beecham House, where I remember
Once
very
for
distinctly.
yeah
Yeah,
for Gurinder Chadha
yeah,
in
for Beecham.
Partition
Oh,
1946.
in
Yeah.
yes, sorry, I
Partition.
keep confusing it with Beecham House and Viceroy's house.
Vice
Um,
versa.
uh, and once for Sham Benegal, if I'm not mistaken.
Shyam Benegal, yes. Samvardhan.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you've had these physical transformations before, but as you said, that mental makeover that has to also accompany it. What is that process when a character comes to you, when you choose to play that character? Because I realize that you've been quite choosy. I think over the years, you've not done just about everything. I think that's come your way. You've been very selective. So when you decide to do a character, what are the things that excite you?
So one of the reasons why I select a lot is that I get a chance to express and showcase my work and my capabilities as an actor. One is
Hmm.
always looking for that. As a
Hmm.
creative person, you want to paint on various canvases. You don't want
Hmm.
to be stuck as one thing all the time.
Hmm.
Because I'm not a pure entertainer, neither am I a star in that sense. Because
Hmm.
then, when you talk about an entertainer or a star, it's your persona that people want
Hmm.
to watch. You can't change. If you change, people won't watch you. They
Hmm.
want you in the same physical build. They want your face looking the same. They want your hair looking the same. That's why they like you and they
Hmm.
enjoy looking at your work as a star or an entertainer. But
Hmm.
as an actor, you cannot do that. I believe in that very firmly. You need to transform continuously to a point that the audiences may not be able to recognize you and to see that, okay, is this the same actor that played this in the previous films? So I need to have a closer look to look at this actor. I think that is the path that I have chosen for myself personally. I'm not saying this is the only or the right path, but that's the
Right.
path I have chosen. And I like to
Right.
be in this path. There are drawbacks of this path, but there are strengths as you walk this path. Reason for again selecting certain roles is because I have arrived at the right time, so to say. I came into the industry when I was 42,
Yes.
and um, um, if you put this on the platform for argument, then of course it's a very late age because
Yeah.
people arrive when they're just 20 or 22. But for me, it was important because the kind of roles that I can do and I could do after 42, I don't think they would have been possible when I was 25 or 30. So they
Right.
came in at a late age because I got work only at a very late age.
Right.
Having said this, the reason to select is also so that you stay for a longer time in this industry. I want to survive here for many years now to come. This is just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg of what I want to do. If I am typecast, if I start to do everything which has already been done by me, then in that case, at a point, I will stagnate. And the kind of work that I want to do may not come to me, which is why I have to select. And it's not easy to select because when you select, you have to say no to so many projects. And
Exactly. Which is
when
really
as a
tough.
professional, yes, as a professional, you cannot do that because every work you do has got wealth, money connected with it. You have
Yeah.
to look after your living and your artist's
Right.
life. You can't just ignore things like that. It's a very tough call when you have to say no to, let's say, two, three, four projects because you don't want to be typecast or the projects will not take you ahead. So you've got to take those decisions, which I term as business decisions as an artist. You have to match both and go ahead. The kind of preparations that I normally do when I select a role is that it has to transform physically first. I go via the physical
Okay.
instrument always
Right.
because
Right.
the physicality then moves me into the mental state and then it takes me to the emotional quotient of that character. And it's very important for me to go through this path. The physicality again is a permutation combination of many formats or many forms. So, for example, there is yoga asanas, there are breath techniques, there is traditional martial arts such as Kaveree Bamzai. There are folk dance forms like Chau, which is from the east of India, like Kathakali. You put in all these things, you take out certain elements of all of these, and you put them into a regime. And that regime, that routine, has to be practiced every day early morning. So when I do that, there is a physical transformation that happens in my physical body. That now helps me to discover my breath. The moment I find the breath of the character, I find the voice instantly. And then the whole journey begins to find the state of the mind and to find the emotional quotient of the character. So it's a long
Right.
drawn process, but when you do all this, you almost transform in any which way, but you begin to transform. Neeraj Kabi gets left behind and something new happens. So, although I take Neeraj to the set and on location, but within him, there is an actor that is existing. And that's what comes out and that's what plays. Neeraj only assists him, only taps him from behind to go ahead,
Right.
prods him. But the actor is the one who's there. Neeraj only observes him. So whenever the actor wants, he can jump back into Neeraj and Neeraj can take him away. But if the actor alone goes over there, then that's a very risky area because sometimes you might lose it inside your system so powerfully because all creations take you into a very different mind space. And I believe strongly to have a hold on this. So you need to have a fulcrum somewhere, which is you as Neeraj. And he will loosen the grip slowly to the character as the actor goes and does his work. But you must have that
Otherwise,
control to
yeah.
pull it back.
Otherwise, you could end up in a state like Heath Ledger and
Yes.
the
That's
Joker.
very risky
Yeah.
because of the process that you follow sometimes can take you deep into a black hole which you may not know you're entering. And it's very difficult to get back. After all, we're not existing alone. We live with our families, we live in
Right.
society. And we can't forget that as an artist, it's also a job for us.
Hmm.
more than anything else. So we got to do our job and get back into our living, into the neighborhood, into our family, into the society. I can't enter as Talwar. I can't enter as Maitre. I can't
Right.
enter as Sanjeev Mehra into my home. That'll be
Right.
chaotic.
Yeah. But Neeraj, you're also largely self-taught, if I'm not mistaken. So
I am.
how have all these processes? How have you come upon all these processes through a process of trial and error, experimentation, constant learning? How have you done that?
So first, when I wanted to be the actor, this was long time ago. I think 1990. I was
Where
just
are
about
you from,
finishing.
Neeraj?
I'm sorry.
You're from Bihar? You're from
I'm,
Bihar?
I'm from Bihar. I'm from Jharkhand. I'm from a place called
Right.
Jamshedpur. I come
Okay.
from there.
Of course. Yeah.
And so when I decided, when I was studying for my graduation in Pune, when I took a
Uh-huh.
call that I
What
wished
were
to be
you
an actor,
studying?
I was studying
What were you
commerce.
studying?
Commerce
Okay. Where in Pune?
at the Symbiosis College.
Okay. Interesting.
So when I was doing that, Symbiosis also has commerce and it has got a
Right.
management section completely
Yes.
for
Yes.
MBA.
Yeah.
Now that's what I aspired to do when
Uh-huh.
I was doing my college in those years. I really wanted to get into the corporate sector. And I
Right.
was actually aspiring to go to the States, study there, do a university course, and get back
Right.
and join the corporate sector. And one day I dreamt of becoming a head honcho of a big
Right.
company. That's what my
Right.
plans were at that point of time. And I was seriously preparing for GMAT, which is the entrance exam to go
Yes.
to the US. I'm very seriously doing that. And I was also studying computers at that time. And that was 1989 when computer institutes were not there. There were just a two or three in the entire
Yeah.
country. And I was part of the team of, let's say, the first 60 or 80 people in India to learn computers. I
Okay.
was belonging to that batch. So we were just six people in the institute or seven people. And we heard
Right.
in Delhi there were about 10 more, something like that. And I was studying that because I really wanted to do my systems with management,
Right.
with marketing, sorry. Anyway,
Right.
so that actually came to a pause when I began visiting the Film Institute, which was
Yeah.
just a stone's throw.
Pune
Pune,
is a dangerous place
FTI,
to study for kids.
actually, man.
It's very
Yeah. So
seductive.
yeah, I used to visit that, and then there was the National Film Archives
Yeah.
opposite the Film and
Right.
Television Institute. And then my world of cinema opened up.
Yeah.
I went to the library, I read about books on acting. It blew my mind because I could never fathom that there could be books written on acting methodologies, there could be books written on filmmaking and cinema and editing and the works, because my concept of cinema and film still then was just watching commercial Hindi films.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I watched Mithun Chakravarti, I watched Jitendra. They were the stars at that time,
Of course.
Amitabh Bachchan. So one actually had to really rack one's brains to realize, why does one have to study so much to be able to make films like what I saw in the
Hmm.
theaters? I mean, you never wanted to be educated in filmmaking to make those films. They were
Hmm.
easy films. There was nothing difficult to make those films. But then I saw Masoom and I saw Mr. Nasiruddin Shah for the very
Ah.
first time in my life.
Right.
And then I felt, oh wow, look at this chap. The kind of work he's doing is amazing.
Right.
I was in
Right.
school in those days. And that's where the opening began. And I
Right.
remember applying for an acting course at the NSD, the National School of Drama,
Right.
in
Right.
1990, I think 91
Hmm.
or 93, I don't recall. It was a 0 year, there were no admissions taken. They
Okay.
had a strike over there. And
Right.
so I couldn't do that. In 93 or 94, I applied again and I sent a
Right.
postal order form worth 15 rupees. And the
Hmm.
order form came back to me saying, no, it has gone up to 20 rupees.
Oof.
So you lose your admission because of that.
Oh no.
So for 5 rupees, I could not, send another form. I applied at the FTII, I couldn't get in. That's the time I
Right.
took a call that I'll educate myself
Right.
because somewhere inside me, I felt I don't want to do this. I think I want to discover what I want to do. In the
Right.
meantime, I'd also attended a lot of workshops on acting by a
Hmm.
variety of people from India and from abroad.
Hmm.
Then I realized that something was not suiting me. I
Hmm.
wanted to go deeper. The methodologies used in a workshop,
Hmm.
sometimes I felt were rather frivolous. It
Hmm.
didn't come across as something methodical. It didn't come across as something scientific. And I was looking for something because I had to compensate my desire for MBA, where there was so
Hmm.
much of studies involved, to
Hmm.
doing something which would match that or, take over that. And I was not
Hmm.
finding it in acting. That's when I decided to do things on my own. And I
Right.
took the syllabus of National School of Drama. I tick marked everything, and I
Right.
began to do each and every subject on my own. Like I
Wow.
went to a real Kathak dance teacher and I learned Kathak over there. Then the
Okay.
syllabus said you need to train in this, so I did that, and that's how I began to, tick on the syllabus of National School of Drama. And I said I'll do the whole course on my own, finding my own
Excellent.
teachers and
Right.
going. Where I couldn't find my teachers, I taught myself, and that's
Okay.
how the journey began.
And you were in Pune all this while, or you had moved?
I was in Pune, then I came to Bombay because I had to make a living. So I
Right.
kept on doing lots of odd jobs
What did
right
you
from
do? What are the?
1991 onward.
What did
See,
you
these
do?
are these are many, many things that I did, Kaveree, and these are my strengths. I never like to reveal them
Okay.
in public or in an interview. I've never done that till today.
Right.
Because these 21 years that I spent till I got Ship of Theseus from 1990 to about 2011, these have been my treasure years. This
Hmm.
is where all the pain, the suffering, everything I went through was over here.
Hmm.
And so when I got Ship of Theseus, I was prepared to do it. When I realized I could do it and I saw the results, that's where I took these 21 years and I kept it as a secret in my belly. And I said,
Hmm.
I'll never let it out now because this
Hmm.
has helped me
Hmm.
do the work I've always wanted to. So, but
They
there were
must
a
have
lot
been.
of jobs.
They must have been very, very tough years.
Yes, they
What
were.
kept you?
They were.
What
They
kept
were
you going?
absolutely. Well, the only desire that I had that I wanted to be an actor. And when you go through rejection after rejection, not just at auditions, at jobs, and even when I was making a living, I did so many jobs. And over there as well, one was asked to leave midway or rejected or whatever for whatever reason. Because
Hmm.
some jobs I was not really qualified for. I made my complete effort to do them and I couldn't. So I failed at those ends as well. I had to leave job after job after job to sustain my family and to go ahead. Now that's when I traveled and I felt that if this is what is happening to me, I won't let my dignity go away. And I held on to that.
Hmm.
That was my ego. It was a very soft ego. It was not an ego of violence. It was a
Hmm.
non-violent ego. And I kept this with me. My ego
Hmm.
really got hurt after being rejected so many times. And
Hmm.
having worked so much, I used to wake up very early in the morning, sleep very late, and my entire day would just go on working, training, and earning a living. I gave up
Hmm.
friends. I gave up all kinds of happiness and joy and enjoyment, everything. I told
Hmm.
myself I will give up everything till I really make it to where I really want to be.
Hmm.
And so those calls were taken. When you take those calls, you're actually living in a jungle all by yourself.
Right.
There is no civilization for you, although there are people living around you. You take a
Right.
call there and you stick on to your guts till you really make it. And you refuse to fall, even if you are hit, you are not falling. You're getting up again and again. And when you talk about ego, there was the other part of it also because I did all kinds of odd jobs that I would never think of doing today. Those
Right.
were jobs that I couldn't even talk about to my family, to my parents.
Right.
I mean, those jobs are not done by educated people, but I did it because my ego was crushed. I just pulped it down under my feet and I said, no, if I have to make a living, I'm willing to do anything that comes my way. But I
And there
want to
is
be
a
the actor.
dignity, and there's a dignity in labor which we don't understand in
Yes,
India.
yes,
But I
there
think
is.
that is one thing that we should learn from the West. That it doesn't
Absolutely.
really matter what the work is as long as you do it
Yes,
honestly.
yes. It's very difficult here, Kaveri. It's
Yeah.
at least in the West, people respect that.
Yes.
We live obviously in a country where there is a caste system, there
Yeah.
is a social order, there is a
Right.
hierarchy. So, as Indians, we do not believe in that. There is a status that is given to the kind of money that you earn and
Yeah.
the kind of society you come from or the caste you come from. So, you cannot really be doing everything, but that's the way we are structured. And I respect that completely. So, to break that structure and to still do things and to still keep your dignity was very, very difficult. But then when you have this little passion that you're so consumed with that you can't see anything else but where you want to go and what you want to do. Which is why when Ship of Theseus premiered at Toronto, And the first time I saw myself on screen and
Right.
people standing up and clapping for us, I could not stop my tears rolling down because it had taken me 21 long years to actually sit here and watch this, which I
Right.
wanted to watch in 1991. So, you hold that all the
It
time.
must have been a very solitary existence.
It was, definitely.
Yeah.
But then those choices are yours.
Yeah.
Those choices are
You
completely
can't
yours.
blame anyone.
Yeah. You come to a point where I feel personally, at least till now, you begin to empathize a lot. You are not violent with people. You might be violent with yourself, but you cease to be violent with people because you've gone through literally everything. You've touched the
Mhm.
ground literally. And then you've again risen from there. When I left my college, I was a student of the year. I got a big trophy for that. And
Really?
imagine what my principal would have dreamt of, that okay, this is what Neeraj would do.
Right.
It was so difficult to get back to my college or to my school and tell them that I'm doing nothing of what you people thought of me, because they all had big dreams for me. I was a student of the year. I was like
Right.
a hero over there. But you pulp all that because you put all that and you say, it's okay. I'm willing to start from absolutely nothing at all. Nothing at all. And you travel. When you work like this, I feel when you shed your tears, you expose your body to the heat, to the rain, to loss of dignity, to shame, to everything. You rise somewhere.
Yeah.
You rise, and there is something about you that you can feel that strength inside you, taking you and walking with you.
Right.
And nothing actually deters you. You just keep walking. And you can stand. Today, one can stand anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're very clear what you want to do. I was very clear. I don't want to be somebody who's just popular because he looks very good. I was clear on that.
Hmm.
I was okay with my posters not coming up on the billboards. I was
Hmm.
okay with not 5 lakh people looking at me and clapping and fainting. I was fine with it because I took a call that if people would love me, they will love me for the work that I will leave behind one day for them.
Hmm.
And I want people to stand up and clap for that. And I'm okay with not being recognized on those big boards. But things happen. So when you
But now
travel in
that you
Bombay and
are,
see your posters, yeah,
yeah,
you
now
enjoy
that
that.
you, yeah.
You
So
enjoy
now
that. You look at yourself everywhere. So that's a beautiful thing to happen.
I wonder how your parents feel.
They feel lovely. They feel
Yeah.
proud. Yes.
For them
Because
also,
it's a journey that you travel not alone. When you travel this journey, you're traveling with your family. And it's
yes,
not necessary that the family will support you in everything. No
right.
family does. It's very difficult for a
Yeah.
family to support anybody, I think, who's struggling like this for years, you know. So they want something out from their children or from their spouses or whatever. And you
Yeah.
carry on. You carry on despite everything. But when it happens, then everything comes together. Everything comes
So,
together.
were
You
they
need to convince
supportive of
everybody.
you? Were they supportive of
Like I
you?
said, it's like I said, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Families don't support like that. They
Yeah.
might not say anything, but nobody supports. No family would. I mean, an artist's journey is difficult if the artist is not earning immediately, or if the
Yeah.
artist has not done a schooling somewhere in,
Right.
in the arts formally.
Right.
Then, you have full support because you've done something from somewhere in the world and you've come back trained as an actor or an artist
Mhm.
or a painter. That's still okay. But if you're not trained anywhere and you're simply hitting in the dark, then it's difficult. But you need to convince. I think that's where things work very well because I, at every step, had to convince all the time that I
Hmm.
can and I will. And here's what the results would be. So that takes time.
So, how did you get Ship of Theseus? Just to rewind a little, and then we'll come to your current work. How did you get that?
I got a call from Anand Gandhi
Hmm.
one fine day. I was doing a lot of theater in those days. And I was told later by Anand that he once actually gate crashed into a rehearsal. And through a window or through a ventilator, I think, he was trying to peep in to see the rehearsal. And his eyes fell on what I was doing. I mean, he didn't know me. It just fell on what I was doing while the rehearsals were on. He and his friends actually did that. That's what he told me. And he immediately gave a call and he kept it, sorry, he told me that he kept me in mind at that time. And then he saw the show. It was, I think, Macbeth that we were
Oh,
rehearsing for with the director from FTII. and I was performing that. He saw that, and that's the
Hmm.
time he said that I kept you in mind. That the day I
Hmm.
make a film, I'll call you, and I'd like to work with you. So many years down the line,
Hmm.
1998, I think he saw Macbeth, and
Hmm.
12 or 13 years later, I get
Hmm.
a call from him saying, "Hi, I'm Anandani. I'm
Amazing.
writing a script." But by then I had given up on Hindi cinema, Hindi television, because nothing just was coming through. And what was happening at that time was something I could never connect with. And I felt, no, this is something I'll never do. So my
Right.
first response to him was no, straight away. And he also told me that he writes for television series. So
Huh.
immediately I said, no, maaf karna. I don't think this is what I've struggled for so many years. If
Right.
something good comes, I'll accept that, but not this, please. He called back again, I think after a day or two. He said, just hear me out. This is not a series. It's not television. It's a real feature film. I've taken years to write. So I said, okay, let's meet. I went to his home. And I think in the first half an hour, the moment I met him and I
Yeah.
heard him, not even the
Such an
script, just
yeah.
conversations, I
He's
took
such
a
an
call that I only want to
amazing,
work.
yeah,
Yeah,
amazing storyteller.
absolutely,
And
yes.
he can speak on such a variety of subjects. It's
He
quite
can.
extraordinary.
He's such an intellect.
Yeah.
He's such a, I mean, such so passionate about cinema, so passionate about humanity at large. That's what
Mm.
Anand is. And
Mm.
of course, the script demanded a huge transformation and everything.
Yeah.
So I said, I have nothing to lose because I
Yeah.
haven't gained anything at all for so long. So might as well give this a shot and see what happens. So I was
Right.
willing to go all the way, although I was asked by my dietitian after a point of time to stop because I was blacking out during
Right.
the shoot because that
Right.
actually reduced myself so much I couldn't hold myself out. But I kept on pushing because I said, this is it. It's a do or die situation.
Right.
If I don't make it here, I don't think I'll make it anywhere at all. So I might as well just keep doing my theater all my life. But, things changed
How did life change after Ship of Theseus? Was it
wonderfully well.
instant, or did
Instant,
it take time?
instant,
It was.
instant. Because I
Yeah.
remember when that happened, I began to get my first call, I think, came from, if I'm not mistaken, from Vishal Bharadwaj. As
Okay.
I was again traveling in those years, I would take the trains, and I mean, so many years of train and bus travels. And
Yeah.
I was actually doing that, traveling to conduct my workshop somewhere. And I got down somewhere and I took an auto to reach to my workshop venue. And I get this call saying, "Hello, I'm Vishal Bharadwaj speaking."
Yeah.
And I had to tell the rickshawala, "Can you just park it somewhere
Yeah.
because I need to talk." I couldn't believe. I had to confirm again. I felt that this was a prank being played by somebody. So again, I asked him that, "Yes, can you please repeat your name because I couldn't hear you." He said, "मैं विशाल भारद्वाज बोल रहा हूँ." And I had to take it seriously, and I recognized his voice. And he began speaking to me. He wanted to offer me a role in Haider,
Right.
and the role that eventually went to Kay Kay Menon.
Right.
But that was a role he wanted me to do.
Why
And
didn't
he
you
said, "Can
do
you
that?
come?" Well, just at that time when I went to meet him in the office, he offered this role, and I was excited about it. And
Yeah.
just the next day, if I'm not mistaken, or I think before that, Dibakar Banerjee had called up. And
Oh,
imagine these kinds of filmmakers calling up. And Dibakar said, "Look, I'm doing Detective Byomkesh
for
Bakshi. I have a role."
Byomkesh. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, "I have a role of a villain for you." I said, "Villain in me? I'm a monk. I'm coming straight out of Ship of Theseus." He said, "No, I am dead sure you will do a fantastic villain." I said, "Wonderful. I really want to do all this. That's what I
Right.
was waiting for so many years." So I did
Right.
meet Dibakar. Dibakar was actually flying down off to London, I think, at that time. So we didn't meet. He says, "Look, remember me. I'm Dibakar. I made
Hmm.
some films." I said, "I know you."
Of course.
I said, so he said that don't give yourself away to anybody. And he said a very beautiful thing. He
Huh.
said, "People are going to grab you now, Neeraj. Remember that. People are going to come after you. Don't give yourself, don't give your dates. I'm coming back, we'll talk." So,
Right.
everything was happening at the same time with
Same
Vishal and
time.
Dibakar. But the
Yeah.
thing is, Dibakar approached before Vishal.
Right.
And when that happened, when everything was certain, I just had to leave one of them.
But
And I
what
then
a role
decided that,
even, what a
yeah,
role even to
what a
leave.
beautiful,
Yeah.
exactly. And I have regretted, I can't regret because Byomkesh was as good, So what to
Absolutely.
do?
Yeah.
One had to leave something to do
Yeah.
that. But yes, I have always wanted to work. I still want to work with Vishal Bhardwaj. We've met a couple of times for some films again. He was so sweet to call me back again. He said, Neeraj, I have another one for you. Again, I was shooting for something. I was in the midst of a shoot. And I
Oh
could not do
no.
his next project as well. Yeah. So I have really vowed and promised him that anything else that comes, please let me know. And please don't get disappointed if I'm going to say no because I'm doing a project, but I can never say no to him. It'll only be because I'm doing something else. I'll
Right.
blindly do a film for Vishal Bhardwaj. There's no question of a choice.
Did he offer you Rangoon as well? Obviously
Yes, I
that's what he
think
did
I
after.
think it was something over there. I think so.
Right.
And then I
But
said, no,
then
again, I'm shooting for something.
eventually he worked in Talwar, which was sort of creative produced. I think he was
Yeah,
a
but that was
creative.
not directed by Vishal Bhardwaj.
Yeah,
He only
that was,
produced.
yeah.
Yeah. But I would love to be directed by him.
So in all these years, finally, when these roles came to you, it must have been just, you were just waiting to sink your teeth
Yes,
into them.
yes. Because then came Talwar and then came Hichki,
Yeah,
and um, and then of course the OTT platforms began after
Sacred
that.
Games.
But having said all these things, I'm still waiting for the kinds of roles I want to actually play. I'm still
Hmm.
waiting to play leads now.
Hmm.
Only once again has
You
happened where
played
I
once
played the lead.
again. In once again, you were the
Yes,
lead.
yes,
Yeah,
I did.
yeah,
But now I really want to play. I've been wanting to play the lead right from Hitchkey,
right.
and I've been waiting since then. So I hope it comes soon because there are characters that I want to play now, lots of
Hmm.
them,
Hmm.
and one is eager now to do
Hmm.
these kinds of roles. Also, I've not explored comedy as yet. That's not again
Hmm.
another genre I want to explore.
Hmm.
In my theater days, I used to do comedy, and I
Hmm.
want to get back to this again.
So let's talk a little about Avrod. You're playing a national security advisor who may or may not be Ajit Doval, we don't know. But quite the opposite of your Gandhi roles. And in fact, he says that uh, this is the age of Netaji and not Mahatma Gandhi,
Yes, yes,
which is very interesting because, you played Gandhi before. So,
ये सिर्फ
how is it
महात्मा गांधी का देश नहीं है, ये सुभाष चंद्र बोस का भी देश है.
exactly?
So this
So,
is, yeah.
what was your experience in Avrod like?
Avrod was playing a slightly elderly character,
Right.
which I have always shied away from. The moment I get roles that are elderly, I shy away and I tell people, no, not yet. Don't give me these roles because I've already played once again. I've done romantic roles. I like to play younger roles and not roles of that sort. But then we took a call with the director that I will not play Ajit Doval. I will not play a particular NSA because all
Right.
the NSAs are very, very elderly people. I
Yeah.
said, I won't do that. Let's change this. As an actor, I choose to play the designation and
Right.
not the person. So
Hmm.
the designation became the character for me, the designation of the National Security Advisor.
Hmm.
That became my character. That became, so I began to work on that characterization that the
Hmm.
character had responsibility, it had dignity, it had a burden on the shoulder. That character could not sleep for hours together or maybe days
Right.
together because the character had to look after the security of the nation. So I began to characterize this entire uh, um, uh, the designation. So the designation, which is not a living human, became the
Hmm.
character for me.
Hmm.
So that helped me a lot. And then I took a call that there will be a body, a physicality to that. If you
Right.
see that character, he's got a little a bulging paunch slightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
Yeah.
shoulders get drooped at times. He looks heavy. So
Yeah.
that had to be worked on a lot.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
We're running out of time now. Neeraj, I think we can continue this conversation forever, but I'm sure I'll get another opportunity. I do hope I do. But just a last point. What's your advice to actors who want instant fame? And they do now. The struggle doesn't seem to be worth it. And even when they do get fame and success, it doesn't seem to be enough. What's your advice to them?
Well, first of all, to seek fame and money instantly is never the right path. You
Right.
might get it. You might be very lucky, and that's the word I will use, only luck. Hard work
Mm,
will never get you fame and money
mm,
instantly. It's only your luck and your good fortune that will get you. But that instant fame and money will never, ever sustain. You'll get it maybe for one project or two projects, and then there will be a phase where you will not be able to continue with this.
right.
So
Right.
rather than that, do something which is solid and has a very solid foundation of work, ethics, craft, technique, training that will
Mm,
actually sustain you for years, and you
mm,
will be able to enjoy the fame and the money as you travel than getting something immediately. Because whatever comes immediately very rarely sustains itself for a very, very long time. It'll be there momentarily, but you might get the joy later. You will not be able to handle it when you stop getting it anymore. And
exactly.
that will give you mental trauma. So it's
Yeah.
better that you work towards it. It's not about the physical look. It's never about the physical look. It's about the training. It's about the craft. It's about the experience of life that you're gathering. It's about making yourself go out there and be hit by life.
Yeah.
You have to be hit by life. Life has to consume you. If you don't experience life, and if you do only things that you like to do, you can never make it as
Mm,
an actor. You have to do things that are not part of your being, because
right.
as an actor's job is to represent another character. It's not
Right.
about you. Your job as an actor is never about you. It's about humanity. It's about human relations. It's about human emotions. So you have to involve yourself over there.
Thank you so much. I think they're great life lessons as well. Thank you so much, Neeraj Kabi, for
Thank you,
joining us.
Kaveri.
And I'm
Thanks so
sure
much.
we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Me
All the
too.
best.
Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
All
Bye
the
bye.
best.